how do I indulge into this health management? Okay, this is actually simply because when I was at the age of 17, I started to drive, but at the same year, I had a severe accident that injured my cervical, my neck. My neck is tilted until today. But during that period of time, I've been consuming, okay, for the 7 to 10 years, I've been consuming every day about 16 tablets of painkiller, Panadol, painkiller. So you can imagine that how painful I was, or how severe I was in pain to be able to suppress this pain. But you see, imagine 7 to 10 years, I've been prescribing myself with this painkiller. Eventually, I have this health issue, especially my liver hardened. So unfortunately, one of my brothers, I have two brothers, one of my brothers, I encouraged him, despite I was in IT then, I encouraged him to go into health industry. So by coincidentally, I found a book that was left aside, so-called Reverse Aging. So when I read through this particular book that written by Sheng Wang, so I was able to really understand how can I restore my health. So from there onwards, okay, I started to venture into what I call natural health. So today, if people ask me what I do, I actually focusing on technology plus naturopath called technopathy, meaning to say that we can actually help people to restore their health using the natural way, but unfortunately, due to the laziness of being, so therefore we actually integrate with some technology. So I will be able to share with you more as we go along. Okay, so this is actually how I started to recuperate it, and eventually I make a vouch as to like when I have my baby girl deliver, I ensure that she was delivered with natural as much as possible. I'm going to showcase to you some other cases as well. Now, having that said, I'm not the only one who falls sick because I don't understand about health management then. I don't sleep because I think sleeping was a waste of time. When I consume drinks, I actually go for the biggest cup, the big cup of this Coca-Cola. And during midnight, I actually go for a lot of supper, like roti canai or nasi lemak with a lot of chicken, with sotong and so forth. But eventually, these are the things that actually kill my health, deteriorated my health, and eventually I make a change. But when I go in deeper, right, I start realizing that why are people so sick nowadays? Because according to World Health Organization, more than 80% people on earth are considered sub-health. What does it mean by sub-health? Mean actually you're at the middle between being sick nor you're being healthy. That means you're at the borderline. So that's why there's something wrong about how we actually take care of our body or even our brain. So, and okay, furthermore, 60% of the human diseases, right, or illnesses are all caused by stress because of the modern lifestyle. And in addition to that, more than 60% of the people on earth do not really know how to breathe properly. The breathing method is very wrong. So if you really want to know how to breathe, then you better learn from yogis, people who learn yoga, learn qigong, learn tai chi, even line dance, okay, people who do dancing or even do choir, singing, they actually learn from breathing from the abdomen. Okay, 70% people on earth have drunk the wrong water. Well, of course, don't talk about water. Nowadays, kids love to drink something with taste, like this bubble tea, Coca-Cola, and so on and so forth. Okay, and in fact, we must understand that it is mandatory that we must drink a lot of water. Very unfortunate, I have seen many people don't like to drink water at all. Okay, 90%, more than 90% people on earth have this posture issue. Now, just give you some insights. Okay, if you do come across any children with learning disabled, labeled to be learning disabled, they have challenges in concentration. They always have health challenges. For example, like they cannot have, they easy for them to have constipation, they fall sick easily, immunity low. Go and find out if they are born naturally. They mean to say, I'm actually sharing with you is that I've been traveling since 2006 to the whole nationwide, inclusive of Singapore, because as I said, I actually invented the INSO. I did a traveling to the whole nationwide to do awareness, encouraging people to take care of the posture. In addition, encouraging mommy, especially newborn mommy, newborn babies, right? The new mommy that wanted to deliver babies, make sure as much as you can go for natural birth. No cesarean, please. No cesarean at all. Or else, eventually there will be three things happening to the child. First one is actually he or she might suffering from flat-footed. I mean, most of the cesarean-born children are flat-footed. Second, more severe one becomes scoliosis, meaning that their posture are tilted here and there. Then the third one actually help deteriorated and also have challenges in focusing. That's why they have learning disabled. So this is all part my personal research. So I'm here to make a disclaimer as like these are all my personal research. As I traveling, I've been observing, and therefore I have this finding to share with you. Now, on top of that, not only most of the people are sick, okay, Malaysians have two ranking. one ranking in Asia. We are the fattest country in Asia. Okay, and more than 30% people of Malaysian are overweight, and more than 18% are obese. By having that said, we also have this severity whereby majority of the what they call the people to a certain extent have a chances to get diabetic, type 2 diabetic. Why? Because we have the most dialysis center in the world, more than 600 dialysis center in the world. We rank number 1. So this is actually a very sad news for a Malaysian without further understanding how to take care of our body health. Now, again, to give you a heads up, everybody who falls sick only caused by one issue. I mean, if we only have one illness, that's actually our cells start aging, or we have aging cells. That means any diseases is actually derived from a cellular aging. If you don't take care of the cell, then we start to have these challenges. Now, how do you tell if you do have an aging cell? This is where I want you to perform a self-check. Now, they're all written onto the slides. And if you feel every morning when you wake up and you feel very wide awake and very alert, very charged up, congratulations. Your body health is still okay. Your cells are still operating, but function normally. But if you fatigue, you feel lethargic, you feel like you still want to sleep because you don't have enough energy, then please start taking care of yourself, start taking care of your body. Your brain fog, as to like you cannot concentrate. People talk to you, you cannot really pay attention to what have been, what they call converse, then there is actually a challenge about your attention span. You become head-hearted, okay? For example, like you get agitated very easily. You become obese or overweight, or even you have aching here and there. This is simply because we are all falling sick. So why are we sick? So I need you to understand this. Now, one good example, osteoarthritis, meaning it's actually like not only your bone are shallow or less, density become lesser, and you also have some form of misform, okay, misformation. So this is simply because if you understand, when you understand about health, you also have to understand about science. Okay, there are two primary things I need you to familiar with. Number one, we live on Earth, we work along with the gravity pull. Now, there's a Chinese saying, when you age, okay, when you age or you become older and older, your bigger challenge is always to deal with your feet, the strength of your feet, simply because your toxin accumulated at the feet. One good example, okay, one good example that I would like to show to you is that, now, for example, osteoarthritis. When we are young, we all have a healthy joint. These joints are very round, it's actually very smooth, you do not have any problem with the friction whatsoever. But when your joints are being destroyed by free radical is basically like the toxin that too much accumulated in the body, not able to push in time, they start to attack all the ordinary or healthy cells. The healthy cells are being attacked by the free radical, meaning to say they are being attacked by the toxin. This toxin are accumulated too much, so much so that they actually will eventually worn out. It's like tear out your joint, your ligament, your cell, okay, or your cartilage and so forth, and make your whole entire feet become tilted. So this is called old-legged feet. As you can see here, right? Osteoarthritis are referring to the seniors. They're always suffering from the leg misformation. They call it old-legged, or some actually call X-legged. That means that they become like a cross-egg, like a cross. Okay, so this is what I need you to understand to be able to address it. Now, so again, the fundamental is because we have not been eating right, or we have not been drinking right, or we have taken too much food whereby we are not able to push out in time, or we are not able to push out with the same amount of toxin out of our system. I call the body, the entire body, called a system. So therefore, it is important that you must understand what is free radical. So here, I will show you with a demonstration in a video explanation.
Free radicals can do a lot of damage to the body if not kept in check. They occur naturally when you breathe, as the body converts air into chemical energy. They also come from external sources such as pollution, X-rays, and cigarettes. The definition of a free radical is an atom with an unpaired electron. Electrons like to be in pairs, so when the free radical forms, it will steal electrons from other molecules to pair up with its own. This in turn destabilizes the other molecules, turning them into free radicals themselves, and creates a chain reaction. This domino effect can lead to cellular damage, including the breakage of the cell membrane, the altering of proteins, and destruction of DNA code. Cellular damage from free radicals is known as oxidative stress. Oxidative stress plays a role in the development of cancer, cardiovascular disease, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's, amongst other diseases. It also plays a role in aging. In fact, there's a free radical theory of aging that states that we age because of free radical damage over time. Thankfully, there is a way to lessen the damage of free radicals: antioxidants. Antioxidants are molecules that are able to give an electron to free radicals without destabilizing themselves, thus stopping the chain reaction. Our body produces some antioxidants on its own, but not a sufficient amount. You can introduce more antioxidants to your body through your diet. As a rule of thumb, the more colorful the food, the better. Some examples of antioxidant fruits and veggies include blueberries, oranges, strawberries, carrots, spinach, and broccoli. Other antioxidant foods include green tea, dark chocolate, salmon, garlic, pecans, and sweet potato. Antioxidant herbs and spices include cilantro, turmeric, ginger, thyme, cumin, and cayenne pepper.
Okay, so as you see, antioxidant is a key, right? But of course, prior to antioxidant, the reason why we all fall sick, why we have aging cells, simply because we have this oxidative damage. Okay, we call it oxidative stress, causing by the free radical. So if people who cannot visualize because there's no visual or illustration, I use a very simple example, apple. When you cut the apple into the half, you see the flesh area is actually whitish in color. But eventually, if you will start realizing they become brownish, okay, and eventually they become damaged. These damages is called free radical, and the more severe one is called oxidative stress, okay, or oxidative damage. So same goes to the human body. When we are young, we have very elastic, fresh skin or vibrant skin. But eventually, when we do not take good care of it, or we are losing the ability to maintain it because of the attack by the free radical, we start to have sluggish or we have a aging face. This is what happened by the free radical. Okay, next one, I'm going to show you this.
Balance, when we have too much oxidation and not enough of its counterpart, which is reduction, then we get into this situation where we start to see degeneration occur in cells, in the tissues, and ultimately in the body. We get degeneration of the body, we get aging, and we get chronic disease.
That have lost an electron. They are positively charged. They come from the breakdown of foods, from the breakdown of toxins, and they enter our bloodstream. These free radicals are potentially harmful to cells. They will attach themselves, for example, to the lining cell of an artery. And when they do, they will produce an injury. That injury will create a response in the body trying to heal it. Platelets will come from the blood and try to plug that injury. And in the process of making a clot, in the process of then bringing in scavenger cells to repair the damage,
we're not really treating or curing the disease, we're managing the disease.
Antioxidants have become very, very popular because they are electron donors. And when they meet a free radical, that free radical gets what it wants. It gets its electron.
Okay, so as you can hear, the antioxidant is actually an electron donor. But I would like to simplify it for your better understanding. It's like you have to supply yourself with heaps of all these, what they call bodyguards. Okay, you need to have a lot of bodyguards to be able to protect the cell, the organ from being attacked by the free radical. Because subsequently, if you don't take care of it, eventually all your cells will be dying because they have been attacked by the free radical. They will start aging. So eventually they all will become a oxidative stress. Now, where do they come from? Free radical comes from everywhere. It comes from everywhere. So I'll start from the 12 o'clock, like microwave and smartphone. Why do they actually cause free radical? Because of the electromagnetic field. Now, of course, we are really severely attacked by this free radical from EMF to cause free radical from the Wi-Fi, 4G. But eventually, can you imagine if there are 5G coming in? And they're talking about 10 times faster than the 4G, more powerful than the 4G. So they will cause a lot of free radical damage to our cell. Alcohol, smoking, air pollution, especially dioxin. If you want to familiar with other things, please go Google search. Air pollution, not just talk about the CO2 or monoxide dioxide. There's another one coming from the farming, especially from the livestock, actually called dioxin. Ultraviolet, UV light. These are all cause damaging to our body as well. That's why we encourage you, please don't expose your son after 11 a.m., between 11 a.m. to 4 or 5 p.m. So stop exposing yourself to the UV light unless you're severely deficient in vitamin D, right? Fried stuff, grilled stuff, grilled food. People now love to go for grilled stuff, especially when you look at people who are obese, simply because they've been eating too much of fried food. So these are causing free radical. Then same goes to the metabolism. What do you mean by that? It's actually like you are over exert yourself with too much of stress, or you are too much of highly tension and so on and so forth. like over-exercise, inflammation, radiation. These are primarily the cause of free radical. Now again, if I were to turn this into normal diseases, what we call acidosis, is your body in acidosis? You might want to snapshot this for your keeping. So how do you know whether you are attacked by free radical? Because eventually free radical, when they're causing too much of this toxin inside the body, they will cause acidosis. Means that you have a lot of residue that have been combined to be able to protect your body still from surviving, but yet they have to keep inside your bloodstream. It can be kept inside other places like in the form of urine acid and so forth. I'll elaborate further as I go along, right? So example, if you wake up lethargic, you cannot sleep well, or probably you have suffering from insomnia. You always have lack of stamina, no energy, emotionally unstable, agitated easily, or you can be bitten by insect. I give one example just now earlier. I showed you the feet that was actually like get misformed. If you look at majority of the children, or even it doesn't have to be children, it can be adults, but primarily more focusing on the ladies. You start realizing that when you have a lot of mosquito bite and focusing at the feet, there's a challenge whereby your body are only toxin. Meaning to say you have too much of free radical, too much toxin residing at the feet due to the pull by the gravity, right? Skin disease, high fever, high blood pressure, obese, stomach disease, loss of appetite. See, all these common people as a disease, all the illnesses that have been described by the common doctors. This is actually the sign whereby you're accumulating too much of toxin inside your body. But again, why is acidosis concern us? I need you to understand, because by intelligent, okay, very intelligently, our body have the wisdom or have the ability to maintain the blood to become weak alkali. Every child or baby were born, they actually have a very healthy bloodstream. I mean, healthy pH level. And how do you measure them? Always remember, refer to the lower right, it's always measured at 7.365. If you want looking for the range will be 7.35 to 7.45. If your blood is able to measure at this level, at pH 7.35 to 7.45, then you're rest assured you're okay, you're healthy. But unfortunately, like I said earlier, World Health Organization indicated 80% of the people are considered subhealth. That means they are in the range of lesser than 7.35. To be exact, is 7.0 to 7.35. That means you're under the category, neither you're sick nor you're healthy. So you're not really having superpower. Again, these are all simply because of the free radical attack. Now, I'm sure you might have heard about Otto Warburg. Otto Warburg is actually a Nobel Prize winner in 1931. He have indicated, he studied about cancer. How come people have cancer cells? For one simple reason, your blood are extremely acidic. They mean your cancer has been measured and all your cell and your blood have been measured in the acid environment, meaning to say it is actually lower than 7. Of course, if you to be exact, it's actually at the range of 6.85 to 7. This is actually the sign whereby your cancer cell is actually in the acidic environment. Okay, what I will do is actually, I'm going to show you with you a particular documentary. This is a venom, okay, a venom versus the human blood. Now, why do venom kill? Okay, I mean, when you unfortunately get a snake bite, there's a tendency you will get poisoned. But how come? So this is a very obvious demonstration to illustrate about acidosis, or our blood become clot. Okay, when you actually got bitten by the venom. But again, what's a venom? I'll elaborate further. Can you see that? Okay, the blood supposed to be in liquid form. It's liquefied. Then one drop of the venom just drop inside the blood, just stir for 1-2 rounds, it become clot. So I want you to understand, when we mention about acidosis or your acidic blood, this is exactly what it meant. See, venom is nothing but, if you really measure the property, it's actually very, 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 very high protein. When you add too much of protein food, right, overdose with protein, your blood cannot handle it. So the safest way is actually for the blood to get caught together so that they can cross-share the resources. Another good example is about not dolphin. Okay, this is actually penguin. Okay, the penguin in Antarctica, when it is too cold, they have to actually gather together to cross-share the temperature or the heat. They will have to cross-share. Same goes, like I said, the body is so intelligent. Whenever they run out of resources, but they still want to keep the human body, I mean the master body, to be alive, they have no choice but to clot together. But the only challenges about venom, because it's overly toxin, is too high in property of the protein, so they got no choice but to clot together, and eventually it will cause what they call hypoxia. Hypoxia means you're running out of oxygen, you're running out of everything, then the blood from red color turn into black. So this will cause death to our human body. So I need you to understand, acidosis means that. Now, to even further elaborate, this is another screenshot that I want you to snapshot. Yeah. How do we fall sick? Now, you see, we all fall sick because of the aging of the cell, because of the attack of free radical. Now, what the unfortunate thing is that today's, right, our food are severely contaminated. Food severely contaminated meaning what? They are being planted with a lot of pesticide, or even the chick, okay, the chick that turned into a hen is supposed to be from 120 days to 150 days to reach maturity. Then we can safely eat those eggs. But unfortunately, technology are so advanced. Okay, Japanese have this technology whereby they can turn the chick into a hen in 18 days. So can you imagine what kind of egg are we taking, right? Water pollution, air, medicine. Whenever we fall sick, there's a tendency we just want to consult a doctor and prescribe by the doctor our medicine. But this medicine, are they genuinely herb-based, or they're helping us to recuperate or recover our health? Or even chemical as well, like household item that you use it for, like your shampoo, okay, or probably your lotion. Are they made by natural ingredient, or they're made by chemical ingredient? And because of all this, they actually start to cause what they call free radical attack. When free radicals start attacking, it actually make our human blood to become clogged or stained. So that's why it starts to become poison. It become the blood limpid become thickened, or even it actually will produce a lot of high urine acid. Okay, and eventually we call this acidosis. Like I say, our body is so intelligent, they won't simply just say turn your blood into acidic. They will do their very best to always maintain their pH 7.365. But whatever the leftover or the residue, we call it acidosis, they are still circulating in your bloodstream, right? And therefore, they have a different terminology to apply into this acidosis. Okay, then this is a challenge. What's the purpose of blood? The blood is to deliver nutrients to all the cell and the organ. The blood also does second thing, is to carry all the waste, collecting all the waste produced by the cell, by individual cell, so that they can be transported into elimination system. It can be through our lung for exhalation. It can be for sweating. It can be for pass motion. It can be for urination. But unfortunately, this cell cannot get the nutrients. No oxygen, no water, no nutrients. What happens? They start to go into starvation. When they starve, they start to die. And this is where it causes inflammation. I'm sure you heard about inflammation. We got inflamed, right? Inflamed and all these things, swollen, okay, rupture and so forth. So this is simply because our cells don't get enough nutrient coming from the supply from the blood. And eventually, where does it lead to? Because of the inflammation, it becomes swollen, and that's where the nerve gets suppressed. For example, the obvious one is always our belly. You look at the upper diaphragm. I mean, we are looking at the rib cage, especially when the liver. Why I like to say about liver? Because nowadays, people are suffering severely from the liver stress. Okay, you see, liver is internally the biggest organ, weight about 3 kg, and it does 500 jobs, 500 functions. But unfortunately, liver is the only organ that does not have a nerve system. With no nerve system, the liver cannot complain. Therefore, when they start get inflamed, get bloated, especially with liver fat, that's where you start realizing, hey, how come I got this nerve pain surrounding the liver? Because they are suppressing onto the nerve system. And when this pain, it will cause different kind of uncomfort symptom. It can be pain, it can be numb, and etc. And eventually, it leads to what they call modern diseases, whereby labeled by the Western medicine. But I want you to realize that it's only by one reason. Our cells are being attacked by free radical. That means you go back to the root, is that you have to make sure your cell is healthy at all times. You want to have energy, make sure your cell is healthy. You want to make sure your cell is clean from toxin, you clear away your cell, clear the toxin from the cell. So it's all come back to the cell, not to be avoided, not to be attacked by the free radical. Now, see, how do you get negative electron? Okay, now, so of course, when I share all these things, I do have solution. The solution, the very fundamental, is to go with drinking a lot of water. But the challenges, like I said earlier, right, 70% people on Earth drink the wrong water. You must drink live water. There are some criteria to be followed. For example, they must be alkaline in nature. They must carry high ORP, oxidation reduced potential. Even if you don't think about water is something to your liking, your alternative is to eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, fresh fruit and vegetable. Especially like look at Malay, they eat ulam. You look at Chinese, they like to eat a lot of, Chinese are a bit challenging. They like to cook the dishes, especially the vegetable. But if you look at the Western, they like to eat salad or even go for juicing or smoothie and so forth, because you need a lot of antioxidant. Because when you have a lot of antioxidant, they provide the electron, just like this. They actually help to provide itself like a bodyguard to go against the electron, the free radical attack. So you help to neutralize it. You need to take a lot of those. And it's important, water, other than water, if you look at trend now, I want you to understand the trend now is gearing into what? Probiotics. Why probiotics? Because if you understand probiotic is very important. In 2019, almost end of 2019, scientists discovered we have about 4,000 types of microflora inside our body. The other term to call it microbiome, M-I-C-R-O-B-I-O-M-E, microbiome. This microbiome comprises of 4,000 types, but unfortunately, most of the human being on Earth left with 50% bacteria or the microflora inside the body. So therefore, the alternative is to feed yourself with a lot of probiotics. But good probiotics, where can it be found? It can only be found in Malaysia. Why? Malaysia, we are blessed. We have the best probiotic in the world with 113 types of bacteria. Good bacteria, we call it bacteria strain. And the best part, when you are able to feed with good bacteria inside your body, eventually your large intestinal or your gut system will able to have a very balanced ecosystem, because naturally, every healthy human being, suppose in their gut itself or in the large intestine itself, they're supposed to release 10 liters to 12 liters of hydrogen. Research this word called hydrogen. You want to go further, go for H2, hydrogen. They call it molecular hydrogen, H2. Go and research. You can find tons of information about hydrogen. It is now the best antioxidant to be able to make ourselves healthy, even for healing purposes. We have been doing this for the last few years. Okay, it's actually technically it's 20 years, but we have been actively promoting this hydrogen for the last few years. Okay, to be able to restore our health. Even lately, because of the MCO, we use hydrogen to be able to addressing, not heal, I can say heal, because it's addressing a lot of challenges with COVID-19 positive. Okay, we do have a lot of testimony to deal with that. Why? Because when you have hydrogen, H2 or molecular hydrogen inside the body, is the best antioxidant to be able to provide abundance, because it's 10 liters to 12 liters to go and neutralize the free radical attack. Okay, like I say, water, hydrogen, probiotics. Okay, and even of course, the next option is actually go for hydrogen, molecular hydrogen. I'll repeat, there are three solutions, the best solution to address this one. Number one is water. Number two is hydrogen, molecular hydrogen. Number three is probiotic, because it's still interrelated to hydrogen. Actually, these three items can't run away from water, because water is the most important element for us to be able to circulate the body for, what they call clearing the toxin and also circulating or transporting the nutrients to the cell, because every single drop of the blood comprises of 90% water. Our brain is 80% water. Our lung is 85% water. Every single part of body comprises high content of water. Even if I ask you to eat food, I also encourage you, please eat the food with at least 70% water content. Okay. Now you see, when I have this said, I also have to encourage you, other than knowing the solution, you also have to understand about how to adapt to the lifestyle. I mean, the correct lifestyle that follow by the law of nature. Okay, this is where I'm actually introducing the SEED, S-E-E-D-S. Okay, sleep adequately, exercise regularly, eat moderately, drink a lot of good water, structural support, I mean, take care of your posture, as well as supplement. These are all important elements for us to maintain a good health. Now, one good example I would like to showcase. Now, this is one of my student best friend. Okay, it was 2017. My student couldn't handle her. Eventually, she approached me. Okay, she came to me because she wanted to get married in 4 months' time. 4 months. In 4 months' time, she wanted to get married. She approached me in January 2017. I mean, in 4 months' time, it's like later about April or May. She needed to get married. Okay, when she approached me, I look at her face. Then I share with her. There's so much of internal injury, internal stress inside your body, especially your spleen are not healthy. Why? She can hardly talk. The moment she talk, right? She talk, her lip will crack. So I told her that there's a lot of gut system problem and even the spleen problem. But she insisted that she persevered. She said, I have confidence if you are able to help me, I can actually recuperate in 4 months' time. I said, personally, I can guarantee you for 6 months, but not 4 months. But with her own personal effort, she keep on clearing the toxin from the body, and she really follows through very stringently about what I say. She follows strictly. Drink the right water, go and sleep early, exercise many times, eat the right food with the right diet, go and do exercise, go and do posture alignment, then eventually take a lot of supplement. and this is what she became. Okay, January, she came to me. In April 2017, about 4 months later, okay, this is what she became, right? And in November, she got married. She happily married. Then eventually, when she married to Dubai, because she's a Malaysian, but married to Dubai, she conceived, she had babies. But importantly, she delivered a very healthy baby. She's going to be 3-year-old this year, right? She's a very healthy baby. Now, next one, I want to share with you. Okay, I don't just encourage you to talk about, okay, make yourself healthy, but also if you are in the severe, what I call acute chronic illnesses or challenges, I will encourage you, please clear away as much toxin as you can from your body. Especially, there are 3 areas that accumulated with a lot of toxin. Now, if you don't mind, let's have a bit of interaction. What do you think are the 3 primary organs that feel a lot of toxin or with poisons? Can you put in the chat? You might want to be participating. Okay, kidney, yes. Okay, what else? Other than kidney, 3 primary organs. To be exact, it's 4, actually. 4. There are 4 places whereby carry heaps of toxin. Liver, okay, intestine, very good. Liver, intestine, and the kidney. One more place. The major.
What about the skin?
Okay, Jeannie answer liver, Chiang also liver, intestine, yes. Okay.
Skin. Skin.
Lauren answer kidney.
What about the skin?
One more place. They feel a lot of toxin.
Colon.
Kidney is correct. Large intestine is correct. Skin, not too bad. There's one more place. Because this is actually the major carrier. It's a transporter. It goes everywhere. So if you really understand the major part where it comprises a lot of toxin is actually our blood. Our blood. Okay, so imagine if you were to do it right, then everything. But again, blood needs to be cleansed. There are 2 places that do the cleansing. Number 1 is to filter the water from the blood. It's actually from the kidney. The second part will be the liver. Now, I'll show you this. Can you tell me what is this? Can you share with me what you think they look like to you? This is done in October. October 9 and October 10. Okay, this lady is 60 plus. She have done 70 times of liver detox, liver and gallbladder detox. I mean to say, for a person who have done more than 70 times, technically she's supposed to be very healthy. But unfortunately, she still complained to me. She was at that's a gallstone, correct? So she actually complained to me that she still don't feel well. She still has a lot of health challenges and so forth. So I was puzzled. So I visited her. I did a scanning for her. Then discovered that she did have problem. Then as I probe further, right, I say for a person who have this, because she recorded every single process of her detox, what they call the liver detox and gallbladder detox. So this is actually called gallstone. Please understand, by rightfully gallstone supposed to call liver stone because gallbladder never produced gallstone. The gallstone came from liver. So they give a wrong name to it. But again, of course, we follow the terminology by the medicine. It's still called gallstone. Now, you see, you look at let's compare the gallstone. She had done 70 times, but eventually I helped her. I diagnosed her. Then I can tell you why she still has a lot of stone inside the body. Then I discovered that she still have this so-called illnesses that she claimed. Okay, illnesses she claimed. Then I came on probing. Then I discovered that, oh, for a person started from 18-year-old, she never cooked. She only tapao or she eat out. Okay, they add out or they actually pack home. So that's why I told her, yes, luckily you did a lot of detox, or else by just eating out all the time, you will never know what kind of water do they use, what kind of ingredient, what kind of vegetable, or even the food they cook, what do they have? You never know because nobody knows that they are they're organic. But rest assured, it's been obvious, right? Eating out doesn't make sure that you're healthy. So this is the 3rd time she went for something called technology kind of detox. That's why you can see that she's still purging out a lot of stone, still purging out a lot of gallstone. Okay, this is what I want to share with you. Everybody have the opportunity to be able to recuperate or recover back to your youth or your normal, provided you do the right thing. Okay, now the next one I want to share with you is my daughter. My daughter, okay, she's now 16. This year she's 16 in October. Okay, but at the age of 12.4-year-old, she was being tested because, like I said, she was delivered with no vaccination. I make sure that she's healthy and her blood is very clean. And the best part, it was assessed by the American for a test. They call it Gibson test. It's to assess her ability to talk about learning, her memory, her work, her visual processing, her brain power. You'll be amazed. I also amazed that I was shocked actually when I was being what they call being addressed, okay, or being shared, that my daughter was able to processing her brain at 99%. In fact, at her age, at 12 years old, she's already eligible to study in the university in America. And of course, like I said, why I want to focus on everybody to know how to learn. But eventually, I want people to be healthy first. So the good thing, what I did right, especially for QQ, now you can see that she did very well in all, she's an all-rounder person. She did very well in everything. She did well in memory. She did well in dancing, be it the dancing was actually scholarship, the ballet or Latin or even contemporary. She won many awards. She even received many scholarships from all over the places. Right, just like Lily, she got another scholarship to do 1 year ballet. Okay, just 1 year to be able to focus on her dancing. She also awarded a full scholarship to study in the first entrepreneur school, international school in Malaysia in year 2020 and 21. That means she's already finishing her school this year. She was also selected to become a co-host for SDG. You know, as a co-host, it's not easy because it's the first time she participated and she got elected. She got selected. And more importantly, she also have a superpower memory. She also a good public speaker. I mean, in terms of like storytelling, be it Malay or Chinese and English. So she did well. Okay. And the next one I want to share with you is about this. Can you share with me? Can you share with me? What do you look at this? This baby was delivered on the 10th of October. It was last month. Okay. Tell me what was actually right beside him. There's a pill residing. Make a wild guess. What do you see? I can share with you this. This actually belongs to two of my students. Okay, couples. They were super unhealthy. They have no idea what to do. So I actually walked through them the whole food detox process, and now I can share with you they are much healthier than I am. Really super healthy. And in fact, this baby was 100% non-medicated child. Non-medicated child means that they never met a doctor at all. They were staying at home. Husband was the one who delivered this baby. And what you see is actually the placenta with the umbilical cord attached. It was actually captured on the 10th of October. And this baby till today is super healthy. Okay, super healthy. So I need you to understand everything is possible as long as you have acquired the right knowledge and the know-how to deal with the challenges. Now, having that said, I'll come to the next part. See, actually, you must understand, like I said, body, it has a super intelligence. You have the wisdom, you have the knowledge, you have the information to share with you what is wrong with our body, right? So like I said, I actually simplify. I cannot make it comprehensive due to the time constraint. I just want to share with you, you can even check if your body is healthy by looking at the eye, looking at your tongue, looking at your lips, and so on and so forth. Now, example, you might want to capture this one. If you do see some people with a puffy eye, especially at the lower part, the lower part of the eyeball, okay, you can see the puffy eye actually is an indication about weak kidney. Of course, dark circle, very obvious. There's acidic blood, or you have bad blood circulation, especially for people who do not sleep well, or do not have adequate sleep, or they are overly exhausted, always have this puffy eye together with this dark circle underneath, right? If you do see a lot of yellow or white spot, small dot, okay, at the eyelid, it also indicate a high cholesterol. Now, people always have dry eye. It means that you always want to blink your eye because you cannot release your tears, or the watery, make your eye watery. It's actually indicate it's a weak liver. But when you have excess of tear coming out, it's also a weak liver, right? So other than that, you always see the white area. We're talking about like this area. Okay, you look at the white area, always have this red blood line. Okay, like blood line is a sign that your liver is overworked. Okay, even if you have like they call it pink pricks, it's actually like you have the dot inside. It's actually a sign that your immunity got weakened. I mean, you'll have low immunity. Wrinkles under the eye is a sign of aging, right? If you have your eyeball surrounding is too pale white, it's a sign that you are lack of blood. So it's like, see, we can see a lot of information from every individual of the body parts. Now, this is particular on the eye. Now, surrounding the mouth, you have cracks surrounding the mouth, it's actually the stomach issue. Like I said, it's actually reflecting that your spleen is actually get weak. If you have a temperature, it's like your dry lips, it's actually the body temperature rises. So you always can start to observe. Now, even I give an example. Any one of us here, if you can put in the chat, always have the crack under the sole. You mean your feet, under your feet, under the sole, you always have crack or even have corn. Anyone? This is applicable especially on ladies. Anyone who have the sole with a lot of crack. Can you hear me? Excuse me, everybody, can you hear me? Oh, okay, thank you. Yeah, can hear you. Okay, sorry, I thought I lost all of you. So anyone have an idea when your sole have a lot of crack or you have a lot of corn? Corn means actually like you have hard skin. Anyone have these experiences, especially on the sole, on your forefeet? Anyone? Yes, okay, some they do, right? Some of you do have, but actually majority of the human being, right? And I say, I would dare to say majority of human being, be it they are ladies or the gentlemen, they have a lot of crack on the sole, okay, of your feet. Simply is a sign to indicate to you that you are severely deficient in trace mineral. Trace mineral is actually like it's still amount of a mineral that needed, but actually in a very small quantity. They call it trace mineral. Okay, between the soul and the brain. Okay, so I'll talk to you about the scoliosis afterwards. Now, so the soul itself, right? The soul itself, when you have a lot of crack, right, it's a sign that you are severely deficient in trace mineral. Not just mineral. Mineral, it can be calcium, it can be iron, it can be something that based on majority, like magnesium and so forth. Those are called minerals. But trace mineral is something that are very insignificant, but they are needed for our connectivity, our cells to communicate. So when you are able to consume, for example, like take a lot of organic sea salt, especially when you take a lot of bamboo salt. I'm sure you heard about bamboo salt. Bamboo salt is actually very important for us to be able to replenish ourselves with the trace mineral. Imagine if you take like half a teaspoon a day for the next 2 weeks, then you start realizing that your soul become more beautiful, become smooth and beautiful. Simply because you already overcome the challenges of not having deficient of is like the sufficient of this trace mineral. Okay, so I'll come back to the elaboration afterwards. Okay, so do understand actually every single part of our organ, they have ability to identify the health challenges. When it's actually too white, insufficient blood, I mean your lips is actually too whitish, it's become whitish in color, it's a sign that it's insufficient. When it's too red, it's actually overheat. So you can actually understand by observing the body part. Now let's look at the tongue. I will not be able to do everything, but I'll just share with you. Now, even the shape of the tongue, able to tell what is wrong with our body. For example, when you ask them to showcase to your tongue, okay, that means that you show to them about your tongue and it becomes very thick. That means you have too much of water. When it's too thin, it becomes like you're insufficient moist or not enough water inside the body. Or even when your tongue has a lot of crack, when you have a lot of crack, it's a sign that you do not have enough water as well. Okay, now one good example that you might, if you do have a partner next to you, ask he or she to stretch out. It's like pull, I mean, it's like show out your tongue and stretch as much as you can. If you see your tongue is shaking, okay, it's shaking. Okay, it's actually indicate one thing is that you have a weak heart. That means your whole body physically is very weak, especially your heart is very weak. Or if you see that your tongue is tilted, it's like either tilted to the left or tilted to the right, it's a sign that there's something wrong with your brain. Okay, I'm not saying that you're definitely going to suffer from this. There is a potential that when you see your tongue is tilted to the left or right, there's a potential that you might have some blood clot inside your brain. So this is where the intelligence lies, whereby our body can share a lot of information. Now, color of tongue is too red, temperature rises. Okay, pale tongue means actually you're very weak. Then if you have a purple tongue, it's a sign that your blood is too thick and it's very clogged. We call it viscosity. That means it's too dirty. So you have to start realizing that you have to do something about it. Okay, the size, too thick, too much of water. Too thin is actually not enough water, right? Then you have to see the coating. Let's say your coating is too thin, whereby it's actually, especially when you see yellowish color, is too much of bacteria residing onto your tongue or even in your body, right? Yellow tongue is actually also indicate hot. Black tongue is actually indicate that your physical strength is very weak. So I will just give you some indication as to understand how to read your body, right? Hair too thin means actually you're aging too fast. When your middle part of the hair is actually losing, become bald, you have too much of fat. Okay, or you start to have your hair to become whitened, it's like get white, you are deficient in calcium. Split end is very obvious, you do not have enough blood in your bloodstream. Okay, this is all the sign that can do. Now, real record nail is actually more obvious. It's actually record the living habit. Okay, this is one example. Start observing at the big thumb. Okay, this is where I discovered I got a lot of liver problem, because when I start learning about myself, I also start learning about all these body parts. Then I discovered that I have liver problem simply because I overdosed myself with too much of painkiller. Imagine like 7 years to 10 years, I consume myself daily 16 tablets of Panadol painkiller just to suppress my pain. Eventually, it becomes very, very stressful to the liver. Now, if you can see this like drain system, okay, this drain system, this is pointed by the arrow. If you can see this one, and when you go and touch it and they are rough, please start to take care of your liver. Your liver are overstressed. Okay, you need to do cleansing. Okay, and there's so many information you can learn from there. Due to time constraint, I'm not able to elaborate everything. Just that I want you to understand we have the ability to diagnose it. But having that said, I'll share you in the next one. How do you know if you have heart problem? Look at your ear loop. Study your ear loop. Every morning, if you can, observe the mirror and start studying about your ear loop. If you can see this line, okay, this particular deep line appearing at between the above your ear loop is a sign that you have a weakened heart. Your heart is getting weaker. Okay, it's getting weaker and weaker. Please do something about it. It means you either have to put in a lot of blood into your heart, or you have too much fat inside your heart, or your heart is actually overloaded, or it does not have enough blood. There are so many reasons why your heart is weak. But observing this one, you have to start paying attention. So typically, of course, can you stimulate that? Of course, please drink a lot of hot water. Go and what they call punch your chest to be able to stimulate the pumping of your heart and so forth. There are many ways to go about it. But just that today I'm sharing with you how to identify if you do have heart challenges. Okay, it's either on your left ear loop or on the right ear loop. Start observing if you have this line. Okay. Now, how do you know have a high sugar content? Now, this is a gentleman. If you observe carefully, look at the eye. Okay, between the eye, this is your nose. Okay, between the eye, okay, you can see there's one deep line on horizontal deep line. When the eye is actually getting more obvious and deeper, meaning to say you start realizing that he or she might be suffering from high blood sugar content. Start observing people with high blood sugar. They have a very obvious that this particular big line appearing in between the two eyes. Okay, between the two eyes. So this is where you can identify whether he or she have a high sugar content. Now, how do you know if a person is with high liver stress? Okay, observing between the eyebrow, in between the eyebrow, if you can see this vertical line and it's getting deeper and obvious, you know that he or she have been suffering from liver stress. He have been suffering from liver stress. Okay. Now, this is actually more obvious. It means that you can see two vertical lines appear at the forehead, in between the eyebrow. And this is actually to indicate that he undergo a very severe liver stress. Okay. Alternatively, do we have option? Of course we do. Is to use machine, right? Quantum resonance machine. I'm not here to encourage, I'm not saying discourage or going for blood check whatsoever. You can still continue as it is, but technology are so advanced now, you can actually use technology like quantum resonance, or we call it quantum medicine or quantum physics and so forth. What does it mean? It means that just by holding onto a metal rock and within 90 seconds, you're able to identify your health challenges from the head to toe. Right? So this is particularly, I've been using this type of technology for the last 20 years because I've been researching them. They used to be very expensive machine, as expensive like 100 to 200,000, up to like 1,000, the cheapest is 1,000 US dollar. But I'm particularly fond using this machine to be able to help people to diagnose their health challenges because I need to understand how to recuperate health. I use this to my family members. I use it to all my friends. I'm even using it to my own self to identify my health challenges. I even apply to my own daughter to be able to regularly check how can she maintain to reach out to the optimal health, right? It's a very simple machine because just have to use a software. It will help me to give all the information. Now, one example, This gentleman, 22-year-old, okay, you can see that this is actually focusing on the heart. He used to have a lot of heart challenges. Now, even come to heart pumping. He's only 20-year-old, but he'll be suffering from health challenges. Now, how do you read this? You can see it's actually, I don't focus on the numbers, I focus on the color chart. The color chart, you look at the color bar. Now, the pointer is pointing at in between all the green color. Green color means actually at the in between, means actually it's at the optimal level. But when the pointer moving towards to the left-hand side, it's actually the sign whereby on the left quadrant, the sign that is actually his body become more and more deteriorated. I mean, energy getting lower and lower. But once you reach out to the right-hand side, it's a sign that it's actually indicate inflammation. Meaning to say, if you look at whatever she's suffering, right, focusing on the yellow color or the red color, he's actually deficient in blood. Okay, look at this one. I give an example. Look at this one. He's actually deficient in blood. That means his heart doesn't have enough blood to go and pump. Even to the extent some might be suffering from inflammation and so forth. So again, these are the very simple tool for us to be able to make changes. Now, look at on the September 27th. Okay, September 27th. 2 months later, after this gentleman had been focusing, drinking a lot of water with hydrogen. We call it molecular hydrogen, the H2. Eventually, he started recuperating. In fact, he's also the old one that been suffering from, that been actually what they call diagnosed with COVID-19 positive. But within 2 days time, going with high dosage of hydrogen, he recuperated. That means he's actually from positive become negative. Okay, this is actually a gentleman that we have do a diagnosis just for your sharing. Okay, next one is actually this is also Kendrick, yeah, same person. Okay, now look at the human toxin. Okay, this is this is actually pesticide. It means that he'll be eating too much of vegetable filled with pesticide. Same goes to the meat filled with pesticide. But after taking it like 2 months time, you can see that he recuperated. His body has the ability, to put in a lot of body guards to go and clear away the toxin. This is what it does. Okay, this machine is quite unique for me to be able to identify a lot of health challenges. It doesn't just work for, it works for anybody. Okay, but again, just be clear, this machine works from 12 years old and above. Anything below 12 years old can only give you very minimal information. Once you reach up to 12 years old, information can be comprehensive. Just by doing a 90-second scanning, if I were to generate a report for you, you produce about 107 pages of report. Okay, and this is another lady who has been suffering from osteoarthritis, very severe osteoarthritis. But you can see that within a very short period of time, like less than 1 month time, she recovered. She used to suffer from insomnia because people who suffer from osteoarthritis always have these challenges because not enough blood. The bone is actually so hollow whereby it doesn't produce enough blood. So once you're able to replenish with hydrogen, with probiotics, and even with calcium, very good high quality of calcium, she recuperated. Now, what does this mean? This one is actually indicated, osteocalcin is actually indicated his body is misaligned. It means that the body portion are not aligned. It needs to be fixed physically, or you have to wear a pair of insole to go and do alignment through walking. But again, the rest of things, right, have significant changes for her. Okay, so I would like to share until here. If you do have any questions and doubts, please do not hesitate to ask in the questions, or you can even open the mic to throw your questions or some challenges.